You could spend 50 hours on a drawing, but because internet has been flooded with AI images, people doesn't care anymore how long it took you to finish that. I remember when I first started learning digital art maybe around 12 years ago, I was just excited, excited to learn all the time, excited to learn the techniques, excited to draw, and excited to figure things out. And I'd watch Studio Ghibli films over and over just to analyze the scenes and study the background art, trying to understand how it felt, not just how it looked. And honestly, those were some of the best days of my art journey, not because my art was the best. Actually, it wasn't the best, but because creativity felt pure at the time and it really felt personal. It felt like something you earn slowly by practicing the whole day and being obsessed with, techniques and caring about the tiny details. But here's the thing. I don't really feel that same way anymore. Not because I'm quitting art, but I think something did change. And for a long time, I thought the problem was me, like maybe I was just burned out or jaded. But the more I talk to other artists, the more I realize this isn't just a personal feeling. I think a lot of artists today feel uneasy. Some even feel disgusted, especially when generative AI enters the conversation. And I think it's not really because AI exists. I think it's because the environment around creativity changed so fast that the things we used to care about, like the effort, the process, and the time we spent making art, suddenly feel that it doesn't matter anymore. And I think one of the biggest shifts we're living through right now is this quiet transition from the process to the output. And I don't think it's a new problem. I'm pretty sure it has been like that even before the rise of generative AI. But I feel like now that transition is even more relatable. Because back then, the struggle and effort we put into an artwork was the reason why making art is so exciting and rewarding. Like, we push ourselves into learning perspective and anatomy and the lighting and the other fundamentals that is so hard we almost give up. But now it feels like speed is the only thing that matters. Like, how fast can you produce a drawing or how often can you post on social media? And I think when speed becomes the main reason of creating art, we don't know if effort still matters anymore. Like right now, AI can give you images in one prompt. And when something is that fast, people cannot see the effort in making art anymore. Like, you could spend 50 hours on a drawing, but because internet has been flooded with AI images, people doesn't care anymore how long it took you to finish that. And that is really heartbreaking. And then there's another situation where being a skilled and talented artist has become suspicious. So recently, I came across a post from an artist named Archer. I think most of us know him because he is quite famous in the art community. So in his post, he said that some people are claiming that his art is AI because it is too good to be true. And to prove that he's not using AI, he posted a before and after drawing just to show that his artwork is not AI generated. So imagine how he must have felt being accused of using AI just because he's very skilled at drawing. I mean, think about it. If being too good at our craft makes us suspicious, then what's left for us to do? So instead of creating for the sake of expressing ourselves, creating has now become a way of defending our existence as an artist. Like, every time we post our work, there is always a fear that our work will be diminished to the level as generative AI. And it's very upsetting that AI becomes the standard of art for most people. So what do we do? And I've been thinking about that question for a while. And at first, I thought the answer had to be something big. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I don't actually have control over any of that. I cannot control how fast AI will evolve. I cannot control what people think about my work. So instead of asking, how do we fix the art world, I started asking a smaller question like, what's one thing that used to make art feel real to me? And the answer wasn't my art style or my technique or even how many likes do I get. It was always about the process. It was the journey of creating art from idea to the final output. And that's when I remembered how I used to share my art when I first started posting it online. I didn't just show the finished drawing. I showed everything, like the sketch, the base colors, the lighting, the shadows, and all the mistakes. And I think that's why people connected to my work in the first place. Not because it was impressive, but because it was open for everyone to see. Like, everyone can see the process of how I created my artwork. And that's what I wanted to try doing again. Not because I wanted to prove that my art is not generative AI, but to remind people that process is what matters most. I'm not saying you should do it as well. You don't need to show your drawing process. That's not the point of this video. But for me, it's just a way of making my art feel open again. Because when you let people see the process, you're not asking them to judge the result, but you're inviting them into the experience of making an art. And maybe that's what I'm holding on to right now.